Hello everyone, it's Ms. Regiment here. Welcome to the final lesson in the reproduction topic, and this one is called How Are Seeds Dispersed? If you haven't got one already, please go and grab yourself a pen and a piece of paper so that you can make notes. Here's the success criteria for this lesson. Feel free to pause this video and write those down. So why do seeds need to move away from the parent plant first of all? Plants compete for light, water and nutrients. So growing next to your parent plant seems like a really bad idea because that plant is mature and it's going to be above you, so it's going to be grabbing all the light and throwing shade down below. You can see this plant's being shaded by the parent plant. Water, so it's got bigger roots than you, so it's better able to get water, and nutrients again come from the soil, so the parent plant has bigger roots than the baby plant. So the parent plant is going to outcompete its baby. So that is why it's really important for seeds to move away from the parent plant. We call this dispersal. How do seeds spread? So seeds need to be as far away from their parent plant as they can to germinate and grow into an adult plant. And you've got some different examples of seeds there. The apple is obviously a fruit with seeds inside it. So seed dispersal is when seeds are moved away from the parent plant. There's lots of different ways that they do that. You can see some examples of those on the slide. Wind dispersal. Seeds are moved away from the parent plant by the wind. So they have extensions that act as parachutes or wings, or they have lots of fluff. Examples of these are dandelions. This is a dandelion. Sometimes call it a dandelion clock. And sycamore seeds. So the dandelion has a sort of parachute, fluffy structure on top that allows it to be blown around, and the sycamore, quite famously, has the wings that act like a helicopter to let it be blown around. This is a different type of plant that has just lots and lots of fluff attached to it, and that helps it be blown along by the wind as well. Animal dispersal internal. Seeds are eaten by animals and then pooped out away from the parent plant. So the seeds are embedded in or on fruits and surrounded by a hard seed coat to prevent damage. Examples are tomatoes, blackberries, apples and strawberries. So you've got some birds that are eating brightly coloured berries. They're brightly coloured to attract the birds to them so they can find them. This is an elephant eating fruits. There are some plants that actually require an elephant to eat them in order to germinate. So their seed coating is so tough that it has to go through the digestive system of an elephant in order for that seed coat to be sort of broken down enough for the seed to actually germinate. Yeah. Animal dispersal external, so seeds get stuck to the coats of animals and then dropped away from the parent plant. So these seeds have tiny hooks or they're very sticky. Velcro is actually inspired by this type of seeds because Velcro has lots and lots of tiny hooks, just like this type of seed, which is a burdock seed, same as the ones attached to the head of this dog. And the hooks of the seeds get tangled in the fur of the animal. Another example is thistle and goosegrass. So this is goosegrass. This is stuff you can, it's the whole plant that gets attached to you actually with goosegrass. And then you've got another example of some seeds being stuck onto somebody's sock. Some plants use a combination of the wind dispersal and animal dispersal. You'll see some that are kind of sticky and fluffy. So that's interesting. Water dispersal. The seeds of plants that grow near water are adapted to float away from the parent plant. They may have a small mass or a low density. Examples are willow and coconut. So here are some coconuts. And they can float on the water. They actually float in the sea, and then when they wash up on a beach they start to germinate and they can grow a new coconut palm. And here are some other examples of floating seeds. These are willow seeds. And then explosive dispersal is the last one. Some fruits burst open when they're ripe, throwing the seeds away from the parent plant. Examples are peas, gorse, and exploding cucumbers. So this is an exploding cucumber. I've never seen one. It looks pretty amazing. So it pops off the stalk, and as it does, it flings these seeds out behind it. Here's another plant that's adapted for explosive dispersal. And these two, when the seed pod is ripe enough, it bursts open and these seeds should be flung out. And there's somebody bursting a seed pod by hand. And poppies are sort of explosive. When they're ripe enough, you see these little holes. The seeds are actually inside here, and then when the wind blows or somebody brushes past them, it gets knocked and the seeds come out of here. But the stalks are quite tall, so they can be spread away from the parent plant. Okay, summary and keywords. Seed dispersal is when seeds are moved away from the parent plant. Wind dispersal, seeds are moved away from the parent plant by wind. They have extensions that act as parachutes or wings or lots of fluff. Animal dispersal, internal. The seeds are eaten by animals and then pooped out far away from the plant. Seeds are embedded in or on fruit and surrounded by a hard seed coat to prevent damage. Animal dispersal, external. Seeds get stuck to the coat of animals and then dropped away from the parent plant. Seeds have tiny hooks or are very sticky. Water dispersal. The seeds of plants that grow near water are adapted to float away from the parent plant. They may have small mass or low density. And explosive dispersal. Some fruits burst open when they're ripe, throwing the seeds away from the parent plant, such as peas, gorse, and exploding cucumbers. Thank you very much for listening. This is the end of the reproduction topic.